So if they showed up there, they did it on their own.
Apparently your staff told them at 10:45, so we're running a little bit early. You might want to come back and do some other work.
Everybody ready? This morning we held a briefing session with the various department heads who are involved in connection with the fire at the Central Library. We've also been able to determine some further steps that we will take and that need to be taken. I want to make it very clear that we are very proud of the performance of all of our city departments and their employees. The fire department was the most prominent department, did an absolutely fantastic job, but the Department of General Services was right there, Johnny on the spot, with the equipment and material which were needed. All of the other departments worked in concert in a fashion that was above and beyond anything that we could have expected. Fire department has for years gone through a rehearsal of what they would do if a fire should break out at that library. And obviously we are all greatly concerned about this disaster. But we did want to make it clear that we feel that we came out more fortunate than anybody had reason to expect because of the work that the various departments did. The covering of the books and other materials with plastic, fighting the fire from inside instead of poking holes in the window and simply spraying water in with no concern for the water damage that might be done, is typical of this fire department, and we're very proud of all of the personnel and Don Manning, who heads that department. The CAO has been assigned the task of coordinating the follow-up work that will be done, the various funds that will be needed to freeze-dry the books, to store them, to make the proper assessment so that we will know what steps we should and must take in the weeks to come. The City Council is very much involved in this process, and Councilwoman Pat Russell, the President of the Council, is here to speak on behalf of the Council. Pat?
During the council session yesterday, we kept getting the reports, and the chief would let us know the progress and did come in and report in person. We heard the sirens, so we went through the session. But like all the rest of the city, all we could do was just anguish while we waited. And I think this briefing today is very reassuring, Mayor.
Okay. Keith Comrie, CIO.
First thing we need to mention is we're very pleased through the efforts of the fire department and general services. It looks like 80% of the collection was saved. There's a major work effort on now with Wyman Jones, the city librarian, and outside consultants to move that 80% out of the building and protect it where it's appropriate. We won't know more until later today on that issue. As far as the building is concerned, it may be minor damage, it may be totally repairable. The areas where the fire was, we were going to gut, remove, and completely redesign as part of the rehabilitation anyway. But we'll have to wait for more extensive work. The engineers are there now from Building and Safety and from our City Engineers Department. Again, we'll know more later this afternoon. In other words, we're in process of saving the collection. We're in process of doing estimates of what's necessary on the building, and we can answer any questions you have.
I think the steps that were taken starting back 1980, 81, to build in a fire alarm system, to build in the other protective measures, has in fact proven to be very wise and very valuable, because had it not been for those changes, I dare say we would not have been able to get the 400 people out of that building without any injury to them, such as occurred yesterday. Don Manning, who has gone through this business of rehearsing how you deal with a fire in a building that really is poorly designed for fire protection, and yet they did an outstanding job. And I want to have Don Manning now speak to you. Don.
Thank you, Mayor. This, from a fire department standpoint, is the most difficult structure fire that we have dealt with in at least my 30-plus years. It had all of the complexities that end up in firefighter fatalities. None occurred in this fire. We had pre-fire planned, which means we planned ahead what we would do if we ever had a fire there. Those plans, I think, bore a great deal of fruit for us. We did not end up with anyone seriously hurt. We had 45 firefighters that were injured. We had 24 of them that were transported to facilities, hospitals. We had 2 of them that had to be put in hyperbaric chambers because of excessive amounts of gases in their blood. They're all, at this point in time, doing well. We had 1 civilian that was injured, slipped on a hose in the street. The department will continue to work in the structure, what we refer to as dewatering it now. We'll be continuing to remove all of the water, and we'll be working with all of the experts in safeguarding the contents, removing the contents, and securing the last little element of fire in the structure. I also echo the mayor that the interrelationship of all the city departments coming to bear on this and the private sector, such as the Red Cross, was absolutely, it gives you goosebumps. It went so well. I was extremely proud as what I believe as the head of the finest fire department in the world. I was just so proud of the job that they did there. They could not have done a better job. The tactics employed were the state of the art. And I think the fact that we're looking at the save, which I don't believe any of us thought could be done, and the fact the ultimate line is no one was killed or seriously injured. Just an outstanding job from the city standpoint, and I'm not quite sure how to tell all of my people that were there how proud I am of them, but I'm sure going to try.
Thank you, Don. The personnel at the library also is to be commended for the tremendous job which they did. Not only did they evacuate that building within 5 minutes without injury to anybody inside, they also came back last night at 8 o'clock to help with the cleanup and saving the books and other periodicals in that building. And Wyman Jones is still water-soaked, waterlogged, and smoke-filled. But Wyman, I want to congratulate you and all of the personnel at the library for the job that you did. I want to have you come over and say a few words about the problem as it affected your department and this magnificent library.
Book conservation specialists and consultants were on the job just a few hours after the conflagration began, and 2 more flew in last night. The state library, at their expense, has offered to, in fact, have 2 people on a plane right now coming down to join our specialists and the specialists, which we're going to be asking the city to retain. We have additional offer of assistance from the Library of Congress, William Welch, who's their assistant director. As you know, because you are local people, this is an extremely important library and library system. It's the Central Library represents the largest information gathering publicly available in the western United States, and it serves not only the city of Los Angeles, but the region in Southern California as well. Is designated as a major resource center by state and federal authorities. We are more than indebted, more than words can say, to use the expression, to the fire department, because their quick reaction had a lot to do with our not losing more than we did. The fire department also, after the electronic book security system was installed, earlier in the decade, trained our staff in emergency behavior, and the mayor and council upped the number of security guards. And so it was a combination of fire alarm system security guards and training by fire department and the alertness of our own staff that permitted us to evacuate the building in 5 minutes so that there was no loss of staff members, citizens, loss only of the collection. And it's easy to be
Well, I think that all of us, Wyman, are emotional about this tragedy, and I think that the response of the public already has demonstrated how much people care. People have come in, made offers, called to be of assistance, and we'd like to direct them to call the Department of the Library to make their offers, and we will gratefully accept them. They can call 485-3791, and someone there will be able to take the information, catalog it so that we can make the most effective use of volunteer support from this community.
May I say one more thing?
Yes, Lime.
After Hollywood, there was an enormous public reaction. People literally stood in line to help. And 4 years later, we now have a new library. We out there, it's going to open soon. And we have 100,000 new books. It's terrible that we lost a lot of the collection, but it's going to be replaced. We're going to receive community support. I know the mayor and council are going to support us, and the staff and the people who have been helping us are going to make for a very positive outcome, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Now they're working at the Central Library with the... They're going to be working at the Central Library for a while, working with the collections, and then we will probably relocate them with the collections. For some time, though, the Central Library is going to be closed. We're asking citizens to call the 7 regional libraries throughout the city. We have 62 libraries in the city other than the Central Library, most of them community libraries. 7 of them, however, are regional libraries, very large libraries with large staff, large collections, longer service hours. So we're asking people to call the regional library meanwhile.
A lot of the things that we've lost in the fire are not replaceable, in fact, are irreplaceable. And can you tell us what
Most, I'm happy to say that largely speaking, that isn't true, because most of the rare books were in the vault, which is at the basement level, and as of last night, very late, those had suffered minimum damage, if any. We will have assessment collection information available in a day or two after the staff has sifted through everything. And again, thanks to the fire department, because and I realized how terrifying it was myself, because I was in the building several times last night. It was genuinely scary, and this was hours after the fire was supposedly contained. A fireman told me that, and it was easy to believe, that the books got so hot that even when the water hit them, it would turn into steam, and that's why 14 or 15 of the firemen suffered fire burns. And we just got a lot of support. We got a lot of support from the mayor's office, the CAO's office, the fire department, and Sylvia Cunliffe's General Services Department. And it's that kind of thing is very encouraging. Even the American Red Cross, who helped me break the American coffee drinking record yesterday. That's why I'm a little shaky this morning.
Let me ask one more question, please. Although you're working on it right now, it's going to require a certain amount of facilities to freeze dry these books. What is the availability of such books? You're going to have literally over 1 million books.
Well, the first thing that the consultant said when he got off the plane was, I have a list of every freeze-drying facility in the state of California. Some of them are local, some of them are, elsewhere. But we think that his offhand judgment was that there'd probably be enough capacity. But at this point, we don't know. We simply don't have enough information. We first began to see the collections last night, and there was water 2 and 3 inches deep in the floor and glass all over the floor, and the only light came from flashlights. So it was pretty eclectically gathered information. Yeah, in Hollywood, except that the degree of loss is much greater here. Well, the decisions have to be made about certain categories of books can be freeze-dried. Some of them can't, and just have to simply be declared as lost. And some of them have to be laid out in tables, and some of them may be recovered through dehumidification. And those various techniques will be used on various categories. What the staff is doing right now and working with the consultants is establishing, in terms of blocks of collections throughout the library, which of those categories the books are in. And then they'll start bringing trucks and truckers in.
Once the salvage operation is getting all the books out, that's all true, what happens then with reconstruction and that sort of thing? What's the next step after the books are out?
Establishing a temporary location.
Any idea where it might be?
No.
And then what about construction?
The board president has been Ron Lushing, who is here today. I'm sorry.
What's the need of the staff? How are they doing?
Well, the staff, it's we're used to having a lot of problems. And staff, of course, it's a terrible tragedy, and they feel terrible about it. But they didn't know lives were lost, and they're tearing back in. They're over there. There were way over 100 staff members there last night. We weren't counting heads. We were doing things, but we had more staff members than we could use really last night. And they're pretty much optimists. When you come out of a humanist tradition, you've got to be optimistic. Architects and engineers will have to answer that question, because the expansion and renovation of the Central Library is primarily an architectural engineering exercise. They are well down the line in terms of design development. They may have to suffer redirection as a result of the fire. We simply don't know at this time. Architects and engineers will have to advise the library board and various other city departments.
When might we get some kind of report on the structural? When do you anticipate that?
The Department of Building and Safety and other engineers will be looking at that today, and they'll be able to make some preliminary estimates as to the nature of the damage, but it may take weeks before the permanent assessment is made.
Mr. Mayor, can you answer a question for us? And that is, city reports have been talking for at least 2 decades, as a veteran City Hall, you know it, about safety problems in the library and about its fire safety problems. Shouldn't the city have done something before now?
Oh, in fact, the city did something, and I think that was what we were alluding to. In 1981, they started the system of fire alarm notification, and it worked well. In fact, it was so good that the system went off, the alarms went off, even before any humans in that building knew that there had been a fire started anywhere. Don Manning, I think, can add something to that. Don?
I think when you look at the smoke detection system, which did activate in the structure, and our people did respond, when they went to that area, they could not even detect that there was a fire problem in that area. They went back down and checked the alarm system to see if it would reset and if it was potentially a false alarm. It would not reset, so then they went back to the area, and at this point in time, they could detect that there was smoke. There was a potential problem here. They requested additional resources and went into that operation. But the detection system gave a great advance warning over what any human being would have given. And of course, the pre-planned, the fire drills of the people evacuating as soon as that alarm went in, the system worked good.
Folks, we have to continue this in the city council chambers.
Just one more question, Chief. Any ideas to what caused it?
Not at this time. We're doing the arson unit is doing a very, very thorough investigation that may be ongoing for a number of days because they have to go through so many potential sources to keep eliminating those. So at this point in time, we do not have a cause.
We're going to the city council chambers now. The briefing is going to continue over there, a little while, I understand. So we'll do it over there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.